Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Natea and this is Nesthetics, where I talk about topics that I care about and you should care about too if you choose. Today we are talking about colorism and reverse colorism in Martin. Does reverse colorism exist? So I got the idea to do this topic because about a month or two ago, about 2 months ago now, a user on one of my videos, I made a video some months ago, I believe it was last year, about my top 5 best Black television couples. And I mentioned Martin and Gina in that video, and one person commented that there wasn't colorism in Martin, because I mentioned in that video that yes, I like Martin and Gina as a couple, even though Martin does have some colorism issues. So specifically, this user said, Martin does not have colorism in it. The ironic thing about that statement is no one's skin color was cracked on except for Gina's, but of course you wouldn't care about that. So at first, when I first saw this comment, I was like, okay, like, I don't know, it was just, the comment just seemed kind of smart, because it was like, of course you wouldn't care about that. And then instead of, responding in a different manner, I decided to actually ask a question. And I asked this user, like, can you give me some examples of, when Gina's skin color was made fun of in the show? And they gave me a couple episodes and I said thank you. So after that, I decided to take it upon myself to rewatch the entire series of Martin. I went ahead and got BT Plus and watched the whole thing, whole shebang. And it's funny because I've watched Martin all the way through many times, because on BET, like, it plays in order. Like, it might come on at night from like 10 to 2 p.m. or something. And I remember it used to come on, and it might still come on at that time, and it'll always be in order. So every night the episodes would go in order, then it will just start the series back over. So I've watched it through so many times growing up, but I'm like, I'm going to watch it now, intentionally looking for colorism and reverse colorism, because we know that a lot of people say that there is colorism in Martin because of the way that Martin treats Pam and the jokes that he makes about her. But nobody ever talks about the reverse colorism, where Gina's skin color is made fun of. So taking the episodes that this user gave me, and then also just paying attention with my own ears, I was able to document the amount of times that Gina's skin color was made fun of, and also how many times Pam was made fun of as well. So we're going to get to that in a second, but for the first part of this video, we're going to talk about what colorism is. So in one of my most popular videos about colorism in the Proud family, I recited a definition of colorism, and I'm going to recite that definition again. So colorism is differential treatment based on skin color, especially favoritism towards those with a lighter skin tone, and mistreatment or exclusion of those with a darker skin tone, typically among those of the same racial group or ethnicity. So, examples of colorism that I have seen outside of Martin are the Proud family, like I mentioned, the characters Dejanay and Penny Proud, how they are treated differently because Penny is lighter skin and Dejanay is dark skin. Also, some other examples of colorism that we may have not noticed. One of my favorite movies, like my most favorite movie of all time, The Wiz, how the good witch and the bad witch, the good witch, who is played by Lena Horne, may she rest in peace, I love her voice. She is the good witch and she is very fair skinned, and then the bad witch is a dark skinned woman. And then we also see this in the series like Dear White People, and we see Sam, and she is very fair skinned. And I remember when I was watching that show, like her friend, I cannot remember her name right now, oh I'm so sorry, but her friend who was dark skinned, who's supposed to be like her best friend, it was like Sam was more desirable than her, and like she was always looked as more and like better than her dark skinned friend in the series Dear White People. And we see this dynamic a lot in a lot of different television shows, and it's very rare that we see the opposite, where it's flipped. And to me, that is colorism. Some people may not think of it as colorism, but to me it is colorism because it is differential treatment based on skin color. So these two characters are getting treated differently. One of them is light skinned, they're getting treated better than the dark skinned one. That's differential treatment to me. So if we take this definition of colorism and flip it, because there is not a definition of reverse colorism, so let's just flip the definition of colorism. So reverse colorism would basically be favoritism towards those with a darker skin tone and mistreatment or exclusion of those with a lighter skin tone, typically among those of the same racial group or ethnicity. So now that I have told you all what the definition of colorism is and potentially what reverse colorism is, now we're going to get into the actual show Martin, and we're going to talk about some ways that reverse colorism existed and how Gina's skin tone was made fun of. So as I said, I watched the entire series of Martin. Martin has, let me see, it has 5 seasons, and with like, let's say, an average of like 26, 27 episodes per season. So that's a lot of episodes. Matter of fact, let's see how many episodes. Let's see how many episodes Martin has. I want to look it up real quick. So when I just Google how many episodes of Martin in total out of all the seasons, it's 132 episodes. Out of those 132 episodes, Gina's skin color was made fun of 8 times. 8 times. So I'm going to show you all some examples of how her skin color was made fun of. Sometimes she was called a red bone. Sometimes she was called light skin, just different things. And here are some examples.
It's something that I have to tell you.
Well, unless you're going to tell me you moving back to Skeezerville, I ain't trying to hear. Now move, light skin, move.
Well, what can I say? You saw right through me.
Well, hell, that wasn't hard as light as you are, Gina.
Look at that hair. He messed you up.
Oh, I know. You ain't laughing at me, Rudolph the red-bone reindeer.
Just stop it, Martin.
Yeah.
I'm going back to sleep. Want me to leave the night light on for you, you little baby?
Oh, I don't need no night light. You light enough. What them believe? What?
Jerome, you know what? I'm a little short of cash right now. So do you think that I could borrow $600?
Whoa, wait a minute, though, Redbone. You don't really know me like that.
Okay, what do you want? Borrow what?
Wait a minute. I suggest you watch your voice, okay? Or watch your tone with me, okay? You do the light thing.
As you can see, Gina's skin color is made fun of in this show multiple times throughout different seasons. However, I do not believe this is reverse colorism. Colorism is differential treatment, as I stated earlier. Gina is not getting treated any differently than Pam. It's just that her skin color was made fun of, and it was the butt of a joke in certain episodes. However, Gina is never treated less than compared to Pam. Therefore, in my opinion, that is not reverse colorism. And I also do not think in general reverse colorism exists. To me, reverse colorism does not exist because lighter skinned people, including myself, I consider myself a lighter skinned person. In the stories that I've heard about light-skinned people getting made fun of because of their long hair or their light-skinned features or their skin color, getting called a red bone, getting called a yellow bone, things like that, how light-skinned people, their stories do matter. However, it is not reverse colorism. There has to be a different term used for their struggles, because to me it's not reverse colorism. Yes, it's wrong that light-skinned people, their skin color is being made fun of, but it is not reverse colorism. To me, when we say reverse colorism or we try to argue that it does exist, it kind of downplays the plight of dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women, because colorism does hit different between men and women, and a lot more times we hear dark-skinned women talking about their experiences with colorism in comparison to dark-skinned men, because in my opinion, dark-skinned men sometimes do benefit from colorism because of the way that they are portrayed or stereotyped. For example, dark-skinned men are sometimes seemed more sexual, and sometimes you can use that to your advantage because people see you as more sexual. Some people might fetishize you, might go after you. More people of different races might want to, try to sleep with you or do, they might be more attracted to you because of your darker skin and because of that stereotype that dark-skinned men are more sexual. But with dark-skinned women, and dark-skinned women being over-sexualized, it's the opposite, where dark-skinned women are more so considered hoes or sluts and things like that because of their dark skin. They think that dark-skinned women are more promiscuous, things like that. So I said all of that to say that colorism hits different between men, darker skinned men and women, but that is a completely different topic for a different day that I can do a whole video on. But as I was saying, reverse colorism does not exist in my opinion. So now we're going to move on to Pam and the examples of colorism that I saw in the show. So, as I said before, I counted 8 times in which Gina's skin color was made fun of in the show. Now, Pam's skin color was never made fun of in the show. However, she was treated a lot differently compared to Gina. And I counted and documented all of the times that Pam was made fun of in a derogatory way. Now, Pam, there were a lot of jokes that Martin made against her. Some of them were just, regular jokes. And then some of them were jokes where I saw themes. So the harmless, regular jokes, I did not document and keep count of. But the ones where I saw potential themes, I kept count of those moments in those jokes. So in season 1 alone, Pam, she got made fun of 6 times with these potential themes. So a lot of the themes that I saw with Pam is that, one, she doesn't have a man. So Martin was always talking about how it was difficult for Pam to get a man and that she couldn't get a man, things like that. And for darker skinned women in real life, a lot of people are always talking about how dark skinned women are less desirable and how they can't get a man and that they're just mad because they can't get a man, and that's why they always complain about colorism. So we see that in real life as well. And then also another theme that I saw was always comparing Pam to an animal. So Pam was always being compared to a dog. She was always getting compared to a horse. She was getting compared to any animal that Martin could think of. And then another theme was Pam being called nappy-headed. So Pam will always get called nappy-headed by Martin, or Martin will always call her Beady Bead or say she had buckshots, things like that. So in season 1 alone, it was just 6 times. But in total, child, I didn't even count these. Let me count it real quick. So out of the 132 episodes, I believe I said, 132, 85 of those episodes, Pam was made fun of either by saying that she couldn't get a man, comparing her to an animal, or calling her nappy-headed. So those were the 3 types of jokes that I kept count of, and those were the only type of jokes that I kept count of. I didn't keep count of the jokes that she was made fun of just regularly, just regular jokes. Those were the 3 themes. She couldn't get a man, being compared to an animal, saying she looked like an animal, acted like an animal, and that she was nappy-headed.
Pam got bumped up to my old job, Martin.
Wait a minute. Buckshots got bumped up. BDB got bumped up.
Yes, I'm making so much money now, I might start investing in stocks.
Well, fine. I got a tip for you. Looking at the back of your neck, hot comb stocks are way up. Oh! See what I'm saying about your friend?
What's Martin?
She's your friend, okay?
No, Martin.
Why does BDB gotta be like that? Huh? That's why she don't have no man.
You know what, Martin? I think there's a spot for you on Hee Haw.
Is that right, Pam? I forgot that was you opening up every show, huh? Hee-haw, hee-haw. All right? How much are your residuals?
And these themes are very similar to real life. This isn't, even though this is a fictional show, this is not a fictional experience. Because just like I was saying earlier with like light-skinned women, they were saying that they got made fun of by the nappy-headed girls. Just like Queen Naja, like a lot of people have called her colorist in the past because of this one clip of her on her YouTube channel, the older video, and she was saying that she was always getting teased by the nappy-headed girls.
Not to be funny, but it seemed like always little black nappy-headed, I'm sorry y'all, but it seemed like always little nappy-headed girls would bully me. Like they'd be jealous or something. Like, what? Yes, they was when I was little. I didn't do nothing to know. It seemed like always ugly people bullied me.
A lot of people were saying like Queen Naja, she was insinuating that the girls were dark-skinned, nappy-headed, you know, things like that. So a lot of times dark-skinned black women get called nappy-headed. They always get called animals or get compared to animals. If you remember like Tiana Taylor and Ari Lennox, how people were comparing them to like dogs, and I forgot what kind of dog it was, but they were saying that they looked like dogs. I'll use that example, how dark-skinned people get compared to animals a lot. And also dark-skinned women are seen as more masculine as well, and a lot of the animals that people compare them to are masculine animals, male dogs, horses, and donkeys, things like that. Those were the type of animals that Martin compared Pam to. So a bear too, yeah, I have that written down. So even like Martin even compared Pam to a man in some episodes. I didn't really count that as a theme, but it is like a few episodes in there where he does compare her to a man.
Martin, why am I here? We've never hung out. We have nothing in common.
Sure we do. We're both built like men. James, would you prefer to be called Ms. or Mr.? Okay, Reverend, don't you got a wedding to perform this evening? Yeah. Take your best man with you.
And like I said, dark-skinned women are usually masculinized, and a lot of times dark-skinned women are seen as trans. So like some people might ask like, oh, is she really like a woman, or is she trans because of this? And usually most like people who say those things about women, they usually say it about dark-skinned women. They always question dark-skinned women about being trans or not, or questioning their gender. So I just think that, to me, like, even though Pam's skin color, nobody ever said like, oh, you're dark-skinned and this and that, the way that she was treated, as I said, and I keep saying, colorism is differential treatment. So the way that Pam was treated throughout this whole series shows how colorism does exist in Martin. And even though Gina's skin color was made fun of, that does not exemplify reverse colorism, because Gina was never treated less than compared to Pam. So now for the last part of this video, just in conclusion, that I believe that Pam had it a lot worse than Gina, as I kept saying, and 8 times compared to 85 times, Gina versus Pam, the jokes that were made about them. Pam had a lot more jokes made about her. And colorism has a lot to do with desirability, because it seems that in all of these shows that I mentioned, Penny Proud versus Dejanay, and Dear White People television show, and The Wiz, And then in Martin, it's desirability. And every other show that has a dark skinned character and a light skinned character, it's always that the light skinned character is more desirable. Pam couldn't get a man because she's less desirable and in the eyes of the television show. So colorism has a lot to do with desirability and who we deem to be more desirable in society. And because of course lighter skin is closer to whiteness and European beauty standards, people are going to put lighter skin on a higher pedestal and say that light skin is more desirable than dark skin, when that is not true at all. It's just something that society, of course, made up, and we are socialized to think that way. And even though like the television shows that we watch, they don't necessarily say, oh, dark skin is this and light skin is this, the images that we see and that how we see light skinned people are being treated better than dark skinned people, it socializes our thinking to believe that light skinned people are better than dark skinned people. So we don't need to be taught explicitly that this is this and this and that. The images that we see in these television shows, it automatically just, socializes us to think that way. And as I've said before, this is all just my opinion. And even Tashina Arnold, who plays the character of Pam, she doesn't believe that Martin had colorism in it, and she doesn't believe that Martin was trying to perpetuate colorism. And in the interview, she actually explained that, and she explained how Martin actually talked to some of the producers or writers or things like that, because they actually tried to make worse jokes about Pam, and he was like, nah, like, I'm not gonna say jokes like that.
I know that there's been a suggestion that there's a sort of light skin versus dark skin sort of dynamic between the way Martin treats Gina and the way he treats Pam. Have you ever considered that, or do you look at that and just in the way that like the things he calls you sometimes in character?
You know why I never considered that? Because originally Raw was all fat jokes, like I told you, it was written, which is not better. Yeah. But we as a culture go through that, and it's I never was insulted by it, because first of all, it's my job to be able to bring life to this role. And how do I keep a certain, because there were things that were written towards Pam, and Martin would say, absolutely not, I'm not saying that. So there are fights that happen off camera that a lot of people don't know about. I would say no to your question only because what Martin and I had was really organic. So wherever that comes from is because of us personally, and not because of what we really saw in each other. It wasn't derived from light. It just so happens that Tisha is very light. Yeah. And what happens is people, Tisha would go through, like, girls would come and watch the show in the studio audience, and every time Tisha would talk, they would suck their teeth. They didn't want, because, so people, they didn't want her to have the man. They wanted, me to have the man. It's like, you still get it on both ends. Light-skinned women still get, the same treatment, so different. We're treated differently, but you still have to go through hurdles.
You're still black. So
either you're too black, not black enough. Yeah, it's always something.
So Tashina Arnold does not believe that it perpetuates colorism, but a lot of us viewers think so. So as I said, this is all opinion based, and this is my opinion, and someone else can have a totally different opinion and see this in a totally different light. In conclusion, neither is right. To make fun of a light-skinned person or their skin color, or to make fun of a dark-skinned person, their skin color, or compare them to animals, or say they can't get a man, to treat them less than, neither is right. And I think that neither should exist. We shouldn't be, making fun of light-skinned people and their skin color, and we should be making fun of dark-skinned people and calling them animals or masculinizing them or doing things like that. We shouldn't be doing either of it. None of it is correct or right, but in my opinion, the plight of dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women, is much greater than us light-skinned individuals, and we do need to recognize our light skin privilege, because it does exist, just like white people, they have their privilege. I do believe light-skinned people, we have our privilege too. So I believe that reverse colorism does not exist, and it just, as I said earlier, downplays the plight of dark-skinned people, especially dark-skinned women. So we have to be careful of how we say that and how we explain that, because that could be downplaying that experience and making a dark-skinned person feel as if their plight doesn't matter. So that's all I had to say about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about colorism and reverse colorism. Do you think reverse colorism exists? Do you think there is colorism in Martin, or am I reaching, or people reaching? And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see y'all in my next video.